I was arrested, incarcerated, tried as an adult, and sentenced to life in prison as an adult. At 17 years old, I was sent to state prison, an adult state prison, where I spent over half my life in there. Spent almost 19 years, from the age of 15 to the age of 34. And I provide context because those early 10 to 15 years were hard. There was a lot of hopelessness. I got sent to maximum security prisons where the environment there was very negative, full of gangs, drugs, assaults, all of that. That was the environment that I grew up in. That was the world I knew. And as a life, what we call a lifer, I didn't think I was ever going to come home at that age. Turning 21, 22. But things started to change. Laws changed. Eventually, there was some hope, little at a time. And then I got transferred to CMC. I was incarcerated by that time about 17 years. And the environment there, when I first got there, was way different than anything I had experienced. New Life K9s was a big part of the reason why. The fact that there was dogs, puppies on the yards made a significant, tremendous difference in how that environment was. And that's why I asked that question, because even incarcerated people love puppies. So I would see people that have been incarcerated for over 30 years, tattoos on their face, been tough this whole time, melt over a puppy. The interactions between staff, correctional officers, and incarcerated people was way different than anything I'd experienced. It felt like human connection while I was at CMC. So naturally, I wanted to become a dog handler myself. I was fortunate enough to be hired as a dog handler while I was inside. And the last year and a half that I was, didn't feel like prison at all to me. That's one of the key things that New Life K9 brought inside. It felt like a community. So I got to be part of that, those interactions. Amber talked about things that it helps with dog handlers, and I can speak to that because being able to be part of something bigger than ourselves, being able to give back to our community, to people that have need, was something that I wanted to do and a lot of us want to do in our path to rehabilitation. And I was grateful to be a part of that. Being responsible for another living being, something that I had never thought I would be doing, especially because I was thinking I was spend the rest of my life in prison. I got to practice empathy. Amber mentioned communication. All of those things are things that I got to practice on another living being while I was doing something bigger than myself. If New Life K9s changing the environment was the only thing that they did, that'd be big in itself. That'd be essential for what we need inside of prisons. But that's not all that they did for me, that they do for others. As I mentioned, I was incarcerated for about 19 years. I got out as a 34-year-old adult for the first time, not knowing anything. Literally starting over, or starting, let's say that. I paroled to San Luis Obispo here, in this area. And I was fortunate enough to be still connected with New Life K9s. I volunteered a little bit for like about a month. And then I got my very first job at Thousand Hills Pet Resort. As Reese mentioned, it's more than just New Life K9s. Sun Care in general provides so much and provided for help, support me in so much. My first job was with Thousand Hills Pet Resort. So I got to know what it meant to be a responsible adult, how to show up to work, how to do a time card, how to get a check. I've never had any of that. And then I got my first license out here, and mission cars came into play. I got my very first car from Mission Cars. I was able to save enough money by working at Thousand Hills Pet Resort and saved enough to buy myself a 1997 Buick Century. That is a Buick Century. But it was an awesome car. It would have lasted me years if I would have not upgraded a little bit. But that's what it's about. Sun Care in general, specifically New Life, Thousand Hills, Mission Cars, that holistic support is part of the reason where I'm at right now. I've been fortunate enough now to have been out 6 years. It doesn't feel like that. For me, going to CMC, that environment was the hope that I had not had at any time in my incarceration before. The difference you can tell once you get off the bus. And that's where the support of these types of programs is essential for our future people that are going to be coming out. Because everyone that's incarcerated, about a good 90% of them will come out. And so supporting them in rehabilitation in those efforts, it can be so impactful. So with that, I want to appreciate everyone for being here, for being a support, for even being involved, volunteering, working, whatever it may be. For myself, and knowing that I still have connections to a lot of dog handlers, that support was instrumental. So I thank you all for that, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.